Hey guys, it's Mike, and we're back with another deck profile, and we're on the deck that I'm playing the most right now, Traptrix. However, this is a slightly different build. With the new tin stuff that came out, I was able to finish the Therian package, and while this isn't my favorite build of the deck, because it can be a little bricky, which we'll talk about, I figured I would show how I would build it, because I've been asked about it before. So, to start off, the Traptrix build is pretty standard. We've got our same 3 starters as always. 3 Pudica, 3 Mantis, 3 Murmello. Not a whole lot to talk about here. They're your best starters. You want to have them in your hand every opening game if you can. Now onto the rest of them. We're still on 2 Dionea. I don't know why you'd ever play a number other than 2. Still on 2 Campa and my 1 Vesiculo. I really like her. I don't think I'll ever want to cut her because she ends up being really useful for getting rid of extra traps you don't need anymore, and then being able to banish her out of the graveyard so you can play another trap if you don't have anything in your spell and trap card zone is nice. Alright, and then my monsters, the remaining ones, the only ones that aren't hand traps besides the Therians, which we'll get to. 3 Parallel Exceed. As I've said before, if you buy the 3 structure decks, so this is the thing I would recommend going into first, this card just gives you so much gas. Being able to pretty much go off 1 Traptrix monster, Sarah, Parallel Exceed, and then go into either one of your rank 4s is amazing. It just gives you so much reach with this deck. And then for the hand traps, 3 Ash. I like to keep my answers generic, and Ash is about as generic as it gets. And we're still on 2 Ogre. As I've said before in my videos, I like Ogre because it deals with the problem that Traptrix has, where you're dealing with monsters that are already on the board, which can be a little awkward to deal with at times. Given the current meta, these could be nibs too. These 2 are really whatever works best in your local meta. And while I don't board it, I'll talk about Shifter's a decent option in this deck as well, especially in the sideboard. I just don't like Shifter, so I don't run it unless I feel like I have to. Alright, and then let's go into the Therian package, which is really small actually. So we're on 1 Regulus, 1 Borea, 1 Mardell, and 1 Disc Coliseum. So, the typical way you get into these we'll go over when we get to the extra deck. But this is all you need and all you really want to run, because they can be kind of hard to get out, especially these 2. But we'll get into how you make the combo work when we get to the extra deck. And then the only other spell running in the deck, 1 Garden. As many of you know, I normally like running 2, but when you're playing the Therian package, you're limited on space. Alright, and then honorary hand traps, 3 Imperms. These are the next upgrade I would always recommend to anyone for Traptrix. They're a little more expensive, but being a trap just goes without saying. Alright, and then the remaining traps that are not holes are 3 Evenly Matched. They come with the deck. They're really good for going second, and you are not very good at going second, so we really like this card. Oh, and even when it's bad, you can set it and burn it off Vesiculo, so that can be nice as well. Now onto the trap holes. 3 Holotea, probably the best card in the deck. Never run less than 3. And then how I like my trap holes set up. 2 Floodgate. Cash isn't as good anymore, so you could reduce these numbers. I like it because it's pretty generic, because flipping things upside down can be really problematic for some decks. 2 Gravediggers, because I don't like drawing it and losing to Nibiru, and 1 Nightmare. Occasionally I'll run an extra Singleton trap hole, but since I'm doing the Therian thing, I'm not doing these, or doing the extra Singleton. Alright, and now let's get into the extra deck. So some things haven't really changed that much, such as 3 Sarah, She's probably your best extra deck monster. You go into her every single turn that you can, if you don't already have one. One Jasmine, or sorry, not Jasmine, we'll get into her in a minute. One Adipus. 2 Rafflesia. I mostly run 2 Rafflesia because I like Rafflesia. Feel free to run whatever numbers you want. I like the card and I do like having access to 2 at times. 2 Pingu for similar reasons, and she's your best beater. And 1 Alamaris. Now, I misspoke earlier. One of the changes to the extra deck is Jasmine. We'll get into her in a minute. I'm probably going to pause the video and run through a couple of the combos just to make sure I'm doing it correctly, and then explain it to you guys exactly what I'm doing. But Jasmine is a very relevant part of the Therian package and helps you get into your cards. Other extra deck monsters. Excited Knight. Number 41. Baguska, which I really want the alternate art of, the lost art. Time Thief, Zeus, and we have an empty sleeve right here. And you might be asking yourself, Mike, why do we have an empty sleeve right here? And that's because if you want to play optimally, this is Little Knight. I don't have one right now, and I'm not going to buy one. However, Jay is going to buy one for the channel. So I will graciously use Jay's SP Little Knight when he's not using it, and he's shaking his head at me right now. Now, if you don't have the money for SP Little Knight, or like me, you're like, I would not buy a $100 Power Crept card that'll be banned in 6 months, this is still what I would do. Technically, Jasmine is taking one of these slots, but you could easily cut a Rafflesia. And this is Spriggan's Merrymaker and Sargus. For those of you that don't know, this is how you make a 4-material Zeus, which can come in handy sometimes. Alright, and my sideboard, I really like this board, so I haven't changed anything in it in a while. So it's a Pankratops, 3 turtles, and as I've said, you don't need turtle. It can be any kaiju. The one thing you want to do, try to get a kaiju that Pingu can beat over. Otherwise, you might be in trouble giving your opponent a big monster that you can't deal with. 3 Anti-Spell, because that card is not very nice. 3 Solemns, because I like it, and it's a really good answer for things like Evenly Matched that you just don't want to deal with. 2 Cosmic Cyclones, and 3 Dark Ruler No Mores. Now, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to pause this video, check something, and then come back, and through the magic of editing, I'll be here in a split second. And through the magic of making Jay edit this video, we're back. Okay, so this is the primary thing of how you make this engine tick. Now, you do need 2 plant monsters, which you need to specifically pay attention because some of your Traptrix are insects, not plants. But you do run a fair amount of plants, so we'll actually pull all the plants out right now. So, you do have a good number, and what's also helpful is Sarah is a plant, so you can turn an insect Traptrix into a plant because you do need 2. Okay, so how this works, you go Jasmine, and then you contribute a monster the card points to and special summon any plant from your deck. So you want to, if you're doing this, you kind of need to pay attention to what your zones are and what Jasmine's going to be pointing to. But then you're going to tribute something and you can go for Mardell. Mardell will in turn let you add a Gene Raider, which you don't care about, or a plant. So you're going to add Lily. And then you did end up with a plant in your graveyard, so you can special Lily. And then equip that, and then you can send a Therian monster, which you'll send the Lily, to get your field spell. Then you play your field spell, which gets you your Regulus, and then you have to equip the Lily to your Regulus. And why this is important and why this is kind of bricky is with Regulus being a machine, the only thing that you can special summon him with is this Lily, because you don't play any machines. So why I call this bricky is if you draw these, you can't do anything with them without Jasmine and Lily. Regulus is really powerful. He's a good generic negate. He's got a big butt. He's a really good beater. He's a strong card. But if you do play this engine, be aware that it does get weirdly bricky. It is really good. It is. It's a very powerful card when you can get it to work, but just, again, it can be bricky, so your mileage may vary. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let us know if you like these combo videos. And I didn't ask a question, so this is kind of an open-ended one, but what kind of engine do you like to add to a deck? Because I kind of don't think of Therians as a deck. I know they can be, but they're really more of an engine. So what kind of engine do you like in your decks when you run something that has an engine? All right, and that'll be about it.